What's going on, everyone? So, Shake Milton and Dorian Finney Smith are officially Lakers. They were at the Lakers facility. They flew in last night. They had their little press conference and everything like that earlier today, and it was great to see, right? These are two guys that I think can genuinely have an impact. Obviously, Dorian Finney Smith is like everything the Lakers have needed badly for some time. A legit two-way wing, knock down the three ball, play defense, defend multiple positions. He even talked about his ability. Hey, you want me to go small? You want me to go big? Whatever you need from me, coach, I gotcha. He's a guy that JJ has been high on. You know, people are bringing up all the old tweets and stuff of him talking about Dorian Finney Smith. He's a guy that should slot in seamlessly into this roster and JJ's rotation in minutes. And I don't think he'll start right now. And look, JJ even said recently that, like, hey, he's going to go with the same starting lineup. I think that'll be the case probably for a little while. But I do think eventually, inevitably, you're probably going to have Dorian Finney Smith be your starter. I just think the two-way, especially if he can come in and continue to shoot well, and that defense, I just think he's a better natural three than what Rui Hachimura is, and I think just gives you the better two-way production. I just think it's an inevitability that Dorian Finney Smith at some point will be in the starting unit. It might take a couple games. You might let it, marinate for a little bit, let Dorian Finney Smith really get acclimated. Also, do the Lakers look to trade Rui? So maybe that could be a purpose, like, hey, we need to keep him in the starting lineup for, trade value and stuff like that. We'll see. Time will tell. But what do the Lakers do next? Like, what is the Lakers' plan? We've gotten some reports, news came out and stuff. And, look, the center position, in my opinion, it's important. I don't think that the Lakers shouldn't be active in trying to find a center, but I do think that if worst case scenario, Jackson Hayes and Christian Coloco are your backup centers, I think you're fine. During the regular season, I think you'll be okay. During the playoffs, Anthony Davis is going to play 40 minutes a game anyway at the center position. So guess what? You only need a guy to come in and play 8 minutes a game, and either of those guys, Coloco or Hayes, can fully do that. I think the Lakers' biggest pressing matter and the thing that should be the main focus is the perimeter help, right? I think, again, I'm not saying you don't. If you can get a Walker Kessler or something like that, right? Absolutely. A Day'Ron Sharpe, absolutely. But Valanciunas, I like Valanciunas. He's better than what we got right now. But I'd rather go get two perimeter guys than one and a Valanciunas, if I'm being honest. I really lean towards that. Again, I still think Valanciunas is probably the most likely center that the Lakers end up getting. I until that changes, I'm sticking with that. Obviously, again, you never know, right? Easily could end up trading for Nick Richards or something like that, or something that comes out of left field. Who knows? Right? If you can get a nice young center that could be solid for the next 5-10 years, bare minimum, be your backup, make more sense slotted alongside Anthony Davis, then sure. But outside of that, I think your bigger priorities are the perimeter. Also, I've talked about most of the Lakers' issues, literally 90% of the issues the Lakers have, can all be solved by upgrading the perimeter, right? The volume in which teams are shooting and jacking up threes, the rebounding issues and concerns aren't stemming for lack of interior. It's coming because of all the teams jacking up a bunch of long threes, which lead to long ball rebounds, and then teams just winning 50-50 balls, out hustling us, out working us, right? Because we don't have the athleticism and foot speed out on the perimeter. You start getting guys like a Dorian Finney-Smith, a Bruce Brown, even like a Colin Sexton or something like that. It could completely change this Lakers team, completely change the landscape of this team, the hustle. I mean, look at what Max Christie has done for this team. Just in the starting unit. Lakers look like a completely different team on defensively, rebounding, everything. And he's a 21-year-old, third-year player who this is his first real opportunity. But it's because of his athleticism. It's because of his speed and his foot speed and his ability to stay in front of guys, right? That changes everything for the Lakers. I think if worst case scenario, if you told me you got a Bruce Brown, Colin Sexton, right? Say you got those two guys instead of a Valanciunas and a Bruce Brown or something. I would prefer something like that. Again, just names that come to mind. Where you have some athleticism, you got some more scoring, you got these things, and then just let Jackson Hayes and Christian Koloko be your backups. Right? People are so worried about like the Denver matchup and stuff like that. Denver went up against Minnesota and had the 4-time defensive player of the year, along with another 7-footer who actually defended Jokic better than the 4-time defense player of the year. And Jokic still averaged 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists during that series. And the only reason they lost, which they shouldn't have lost because they were up 20 in Game 7, the only reason that they lost was because Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and all these guys were so bad, Mike Malone had to come out and defend them. If it wasn't for the other guys being terrible, and guess what? The other guys are the ones that kill us. You want to beat Denver? We need to upgrade the perimeter. That's what we need. But you also look at like what's available out there, right? Like, I also think depending on how things shape up, I think you spend this time evaluating, which, reports are that that's what the Lakers want to do, that they want to evaluate and stuff. And, I think you spend the time evaluating. And then I think you kind of gauge and see, like, okay, well, what else does this team need? What else could we look to do, right? Like, Dorian Finney Smith, you slot him in different areas, different places. Okay, well, maybe Dorian Finney Smith, he could be the 2. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we go and get a Kuzma or, a Jeremy Grant or something now, especially if you can get him at a good price. And it's like, okay, well, now we got a 3. Do you go get, do you take a flyer on like a Brandon Ingram? Especially if you can get him cheap, right? The beauty is, like, the Lakers, in all honesty, might be able to get everything that they need and not have to trade a first. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith is the one guy that, like, you might have had to pay a first for just because of how many teams were vying for him. Right? Like, Bruce Brown, supposedly you can have him for 2 seconds. Some of these other guys I can see dropping for 2 seconds. Right? Like, there's a lot of guys that I'd like at the set. Like, Robert Williams, I would love to have Robert Williams. My problem is can he play more than 40 games? Can he stay on the basketball court and be healthy? Robert Williams in all honesty, Robert Williams is probably the exact center we need in that backup role. Like, you want to talk about, like, that toughness, physicality, shot blocking, rebounding, just monster menace on the interior. Robert Williams is that. Robert Williams, I think, may be the best option out there. The problem is best ability is availability, and the guy hasn't been very available. Right? Walker Kessler's another one. I just don't know how realistic Walker Kessler is. Walker Kessler, I've always maintained, is my favorite option at the center position. But, you kind of just, like, go through the motions here. It's like, like Kyle Kuzma, like the Washington trade. You could still go get, like, a Kyle Kuzma or a Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is another one that, like, on paper is exactly what the Lakers need. A big, physical, sizable combo guard that shoots the ball well, plays off ball, 40% from 3, can initiate the offense, can defend multiple positions, right? Like, give you some toughness, all that stuff. Problem with Malcolm Brogdon is, again, just like Robert Williams, can he play more than 15 minutes, right? Like, can he stay healthier than, 40 games, right? Like, if you told me Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon right now, you could get both and they'll play the rest of the season and the playoffs, I'd be like, go get Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon. Right? Like, if you had a time machine, you could jump in and be like, hey, we could go get those 2 guys. Because, again, Malcolm Brogdon with Dorian Finney-Smith gives you size, defense, switchability, versatility, shooting, everything. You go get a Robert Williams for a backup role. I mean, seriously, like, that would be ridiculous. I mean, LeBron could go and get rest. Like, you could play LeBron probably 20 minutes at that point. Because you could literally just have, like, you could have Malcolm Brogdon, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Anthony Davis, and Robert Williams out there as your other 5, right? Like, without LeBron. And you probably would just, like, run through teams. You got size, physicality, defense, switchability, right? Rebounding, shooting, literally everything you could need. So, I don't hate that idea, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The Wizards, I still think, are probably one of the more realistic options as far as, like, the trade front goes, just because of, the Lakers and Wizards history, I still think Valanciunas is probably the most likely center that the Lakers end up landing. Malcolm Brogdon, Kyle Kuzma are two guys that I think make some sense for the Lakers as well. Malcolm Brogdon, supposedly, again, another guy you can have for a couple seconds. Also, Malcolm Brogdon gives you that financial flexibility, which is another thing. Same thing with like a Bruce Brown. Between Bruce Brown and Malcolm Brogdon, I'd rather have Bruce Brown because he's like younger and gives you a lot of the same stuff. He's not the shooter that Malcolm Brogdon is. But Bruce Brown still gives you a lot of the same stuff. So, I don't know. I'd still kind of keep an eye on Washington. We'll see how that plays out, at least at the center position with Jonas Valanciunas. Beyond that, I think it'll probably be like pieced together, right? Like, I could see like, maybe it is like a Bruce Brown from Toronto and then a, Nick Richards or something like that from Charlotte or something, or Cody Martin from Charlotte, and then, maybe they go back to the Nets and talk about Day'Ron Sharpe or something, right? Like, there's options there. But whatever they end up doing, at least it's a start. At least you got kind of your beginning stage guys and are in good shape. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? And what are your thoughts? What do you make of, kind of the trade situation, everything that's gone on here? What do you want to see Rob Pelinka and the Lakers do next? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.